Hello, all. Welcome to Off the Wall Movie Reviews. I'm Aubrey, and today we'll be discussing the film Tully, directed by Jason Reitman. This movie is a comedy slash drama about a mom who is tackling the duties of raising three children while developing a relationship with a night nanny who comes to help her with her newborn. I immediately took a liking to what was being presented in this film. It starts off with our character Marlo, who is brushing her son along his arms, legs, back, and feet. I instantly recognize this practice and is one that I see regularly in my profession. It involves providing a child, typically with special needs, with sensory support. In my line of work, I sometimes collaborate with occupational therapists, which is where I was first exposed to this. It feels good to see this procedure in a mass marketed movie. This kind of thing isn't common knowledge and is a good way to keep people informed. In my opinion, it's portrayed very well and feels truly authentic. The same thing could be said about this next scene, where we have Marlo driving her two kids, Jonah and Sarah, to a meeting about Jonah at his school. In the parking lot, it's shown the heights that Jonah can get to and how emotionally distraught he can become. To the misinformed, this could look like a child just simply throwing a tantrum to get what he wants. But it's much more than that when you take the disability into consideration. I also appreciate the attention to detail when Marlo responds to the behaviors. You could see her starting to crack under the distress, but managing to keep her patience. I can't tell you what it's like to raise a child, let alone one with special needs, but I can only imagine it can be difficult and stressful. What we're witnessing is someone being human, with all of the flaws, chaos, and imperfections included. Although it may seem manic, at the same time, it's beautiful. There's no instructions or some kind of play-by-play manual to parenting. 9 times out of 10, you're figuring things out as you go, I imagine, and it comes with a few hiccups. That makes the scenario so relatable. Marlo then seems more and more down to earth, like somebody you may know in your circle of family or friends. Heck, you could be seeing yourself in the character. Next, we're introduced to Marlo's brother Craig and his wife Elise. They have kids of their own and live a bit more comfortably than our main characters. Their philosophy on living life and how to run their household seems to be a little bit more free-spirited. This is where Marlo is given the idea of getting a night nanny. Some of Marlo's conversations here with her brother and his wife are played for laughs. It shows how vastly different people's experiences with parenting can be, further supporting the notion that the method used to raise children is determined on a case-by-case basis. Marlo's husband, Drew, comes off as a supportive husband, one who's trying to take off with his career, but putting a lot of his focus and energy into his work. We're shown through a montage that once the newborn baby arrives, Marlo is taking on more of the brunt of the work. What I see is a husband doing his duty as a provider, but lacking in the department of team effort. It looks completely overwhelming to tend to children through the entirety of the day, get up out of your sleep in the middle of the night and do the exact same thing while doing this all by yourself. That can be very taxing on a person, and no parent should have to do that alone. I mean, there's this really powerful scene where Marlo and a staff member are trying to relay their feelings and viewpoints on the subject of Jonah's behavior. It's so heartfelt, yet painfully true, how this topic of discussion is sometimes perceived. There are good points from both sides of this conversation, and my heart goes out to those who have to keep fighting this fight. Eventually, Marlo contacts a night nanny, and we're introduced to Tully, a lively young lady who shows up to help with new baby Mia. And as Tully puts it to Marlo, "I'm here to take care of you." As Tully continues her visits, she lifts a heavy weight off of Marlo's shoulders. Marlo begins to confide in Tully, finally able to really lay it all out with someone. I really enjoyed this film. The story of a mom taking on the exhausting duties of parenthood is really insightful. Staying true to the harsh realities of what being a parent can entail is an important message. I loved the representation of being involved in the life of a child with special needs. That's a sliver of my reality, and is a delight to see represented on the big screen. Like, there's this really relatable scene where the character Jonah displays sensitivity to loud noises, and there's someone that I work with directly that displays similar behavior, down to the exact source of the noise. This movie touched me on such a personal level. It takes unsuspecting turns, a few surprises that are daring. This leads to a couple of issues I have with the film. There was some creative decisions that kind of take away from passionate moments and well-needed relationships. The cast was great. Charlize Theron as Marlo gave a really believable peek into parenting and the stresses it entails. Mackenzie Davis's Tully is very charismatic. Now, admittingly, she's my celebrity crush. She does no wrong in my eyes. Her performance was tantalizing. Her character was captivating. She had such a high likability factor. And Ron Livingston as Drew was a good depiction of a husband and a father who means well but could use a little guidance in balancing priorities. Rating this movie on a 5-star rating scale, I'd give it 4 stars. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the content, and if so, click that like button and subscribe. You have a good one.